few if you want. It should be about 10:30. Oh, 10:30. I can see laughter, or I can see tears. I see a choice, love or fear. What do you choose? I can see peace, or I can see war. I can see sunshine, or I can see a storm. What do you choose? Now I choose to love with freedom flying from my heart when the light keeps shining. I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I can see sharing or I can see grief. I can see caring or poverty. What do you choose? I can see gardens or I can see bombs. I can see life or death coming on strong. What do you choose? Now I choose to live with freedom flying from my heart where the light keeps shining. I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I see us healing, the darkness dying. I see us dawning as one world united. What do you choose? Love or fear? What do you choose? Now I choose to live with freedom flying from my heart where the light keeps shining. I choose to feel the whole world crying, and I choose to feel the one wolf is rising, and I choose to feel us all united in the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Matt. This
I'm
is my wife
Ashley.
This is Gina
Hi.
McGee, no relation. We want to welcome you to Unity this morning.
You have a mic. Never mind.
Yes.
We all have mics.
I'm just gonna hold it.
Why?
Okay, I'll set it over here.
We just wanted to hold the mic.
So whether it's your first time or your thousandth time or your first time in a long time, we want to welcome you. We want to say that you belong, you are home now. So just like we sing in the song, we don't always sing the song, but we try to extend that to everyone every day, every time we're here. So.
Absolutely. You know, yesterday the board met, we had a retreat, and we put together all of your input from last summer, and we're finishing up that mission and vision. And I want to try this one out for you because you brought up the very word, welcome. And that's the word that most of you all just over and over let us know.
This is Jeannie McGee, by the way. She's a church lady, and she's our prayer chaplain for today, and she will be available. Not only will she be doing our opening prayer here, but she will also be available after the service today if you need some time with prayer with Jeannie.
Yes. Well, here's what we tried out, okay? So see how this lands with you, and then we're going to pray over it. Our spiritual fellowship welcomes, serves, and supports individual transformation, enriching our community and the world. I like that. So, let's come to prayer. And in affirmative prayer, we begin with a little relaxing, little breath. Let's take a breath and become present to this sacred space and fellowship. Breathe in the welcome of our community. Breathe out and release any separation you might have felt. Breathe in the support we feel knowing each other and the Christ nature within each of us. Breathe out and release any drama you may have experienced today, any drama of the ego. Breathe in your supportive ego that works with your innate godness. Breathe out and release that adverse ego that allows separation or blame or judgment. Let go and let God, a familiar expression of this surrender. In the consciousness of our Christ nature, we deny and release the false notion of powerlessness or sinfulness or just our limited self operating from the impulse of lack or fear. We free ourselves from living in the consciousness of me, myself, and I. Instead, let us yield to our divine identity. Let's go within to the state of awareness of our essential unity with Source. Feel the release of struggle. Feel the infinite possibilities and the access to all you can see or imagine. Let's go into silence for just a moment. Let us affirm, I let go of all choices based on my adverse ego. I unleash my godness and trust my innate divinity. We are grateful for this release and surrender and this time to be present in this space with this fellowship. Let go, let God. Thank you. Now I believe it's took y'all deep. Let's come back to this realm. Open your eyes. And time for meet and greet.
You did have something about Facebook?
Oh, for anybody who has, is on Facebook, it's a good time to check in.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
See,
I'd like to check in and make sure.
the Facebook generation. That was me. Okay. Very good, Ashley.
That's my favorite part. I want to meet everybody. So this is the time we get to say hello to your neighbor real quick before we go into another song.
I know. All right, as you make your way back to your seat, if you would like to stay standing, you can help sing this song, which you mostly should be familiar with now, because we've done it several times. This is Amazing Things. One of the co-writers of this is Jana Stanfield, and she's going to be our featured artist this month, so we'll be hearing some more of her songs as the month goes on. And I think I have talked Amanda into coming back and singing those songs, so I don't have to try them. So something to look forward to. He will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. He will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. He will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. He will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. He will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes the deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. He will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. He will do amazing Thank you. That was amazing.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, so once a month, beginning of a new month, so today's a Sunday that we read our daily word, which you can go online. I used to do this all the time. My mom used to send me subscriptions to Daily Word, but then I realized if I didn't have it on me at the time, I just went online to dailyword.com, and it pulls up today's daily word anytime you want to read it. So this is just off the website. And today's daily word is let go, let God. I make an active choice to let go and let God. To someone unfamiliar with the phrase let go, let God, the words may seem to be a spiritual cop-out, a popular slogan used with the shrug of inevitability. It's out of my hands, or I'm resigned to the inevitable. In truth, let go, let God describes an active choice that is always mine to make. I let go of all attempts to make choices based solely on input from my ego mind's sense of personal obligation. It simply isn't true that I must personally find the answer to every question. I let God by choosing instead to trust the indwelling presence that is my true identity, opening my heart to love-centered guidance and quiet power. Do not worry about anything, but in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4, verse 6. And
So now we will light our Christ candle. And our Christ candle symbolizes just that, just as we were saying in the daily word, the inner divinity, the inner Christ within us. And so as we light this candle together, we'll say our statement of being together. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Every prayer that I'm not praying, and every promise I'm betraying, and every price that I am paying, like a ghost inside of me, and every road I could be taking, and every dream I am forsaking, and every heart that's out there breaking is like a ghost inside of me. Round, round, look around. Every time I turn around, I'm not who I ought to be. Down, down, it gets me down. Every time I look around, there's something haunting me. Every friend I am deserving, and every danger I am flirting, and every word that ends up hurting is like a ghost inside of me. And every heart I could be cheering, and every love that I am fearing, and every cry that I am hearing is like a ghost inside of me. Round, round, look around. Every time I turn around, I'm not who I ought to be. Down, down, gets me down. Every time I look around, There's something haunting me, every tear I'm not crying, and every pain I am denying, and every lie I'm justifying, like a ghost inside of me, like a ghost inside of me, like a ghost inside of me, like a ghost inside of me. Thank you. Wearing some different hats today. And just give me a second here. I think I might sit a spell. So, if you look at that song we just did, you might look at it and say, well, it's about regrets. Isn't it really about regrets? But it's not just about regrets, but also about a recognition of regrets. So how many people here have regrets about things they've done in their past? Pretty much everybody. I too have regrets. However, I don't live there anymore. What I'm saying is, I know I have them, I recognize them, I can look back and say, I really wish I hadn't made those choices. But I did make those choices. And my life would be different now if I hadn't made those choices. Different how, different better, different worse, I don't know. But it would be different. So it's okay, I think, to recognize that you have regrets. Probably not such a good idea to kind of hang on to them and think about them all the time and say, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that, and just kind of live there. So you don't want to live in the past. I'm not ready to show you that slide. So the title is Talk the Speed of Happiness. There's two things really that got me here. One was, actually I think it was on a flight either down here to Little Rock or back to Detroit before I moved down here. Jeannie had already moved down here, but I moved down about 8 months later. Anyways, on one of those trips where I was visiting, I sat next to a guy on the plane, and we got to talking, and I don't know how often you guys have done that. Sometimes you'll have trips and you don't want to talk to the person next to you, or they're sleeping, or maybe you do have a conversation. I've had it go both ways. On this particular occasion, this guy was really friendly and outgoing, and we just chatted the whole trip. And as it turned out, I was living in Detroit at the time, and he was kind of going there quite a bit, almost every week for business. And he was like, well, we should get together when I'm in town. And I thought, okay, we'll see what we can do. And we exchanged contact information and all that. And that never happened. We never did get together, but we did become Facebook friends. And we'll call him Rick because, well, that was his name. His name was Rick. So Rick posted, several months later, I don't know what the timeline was, but he posted something on Facebook to the effect that, is it really so hard to be happy? Is it really so hard? Something along that line. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but that generated a lot of comments. He's got quite a few friends on Facebook because he is this very outgoing person, so he reaches out to a lot of people. So one of the comments was from me. And I wrote, happiness is simply a choice. And then later I got to thinking about that. Is that really true? Is it just a choice? So that was one thing. The other thing that led me here was an observation that, have you ever, I'm sure you've observed this, some people go through life and they take a lot of hits and they have a lot of trauma and stuff in their life, and they just keep going. It just doesn't stop them. They just take it on the chin and they keep moving on. And other people, and I'm sure you've observed this, have these same traumas, these same tragedies and stuff, and just fall to pieces. And it takes them a long time to recover. And maybe some of them don't recover. But I got to thinking, why is that? Why are people so different in that regards? And one of the ideas around this that I developed in my own life was the fact that it's not so much what happens to you, but what happens next. So getting ready for this talk, I had to go do some research. So I went looking to see if there was a quote around that idea, and I found this. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This was by a fellow by the name of Epictetus, and you can see he lived a long time ago. I had no idea this idea went back that far. So Epictetus, actually, he was born a slave. So I assume that means his parents must have been slaves, and he was born in that day and time. He was automatically a slave, kind of like a class system. It's somewhere along the line his owner, I guess, for whatever reason, granted him. Anyways, he basically said, "You can go get some education. You can go do that." So I'm okay with that, and he did that. And then I read in a little bio, it said he was banished from Rome. And I'm like, why would a slave be banished? I went back a little more research on that because that was sort of interesting. But what happened is after he gained his freedom eventually, so he went and learned a little bit, and he was studying philosophy. And then one of those, I didn't capture this, one of those Roman emperors decided he needed to boot all the philosophers out of Rome, because I don't think it was a good thing for him that people were thinking these thoughts and stuff, and he wanted to stay in power. So he said, "Out, everybody out." And Epictetus went to Greece to live, and he didn't write anything down himself, but he had a follower, a student, who wrote a lot of his stuff down. And this is one of the things he wrote. There were some other things too, but this led me to the fact that he was a follower of Stoicism. Is anybody familiar with Stoicism? I had a feeling Bill was. And really, before I did this research, let me ask you, if you heard the word Stoic, what does that bring to mind? Anybody? Yeah, just someone who doesn't show a lot of emotion, someone who's just kind of a rock or whatever, which is what I thought too. Anyways, so down the rabbit hole I went, because that's what the internet can do to you. You're just like, I got to dive into this a little bit and see what this is all about. So the Stoics were interesting. It's an interesting philosophy, and I don't think they were necessarily on the wrong track. But maybe they were just a bit extreme. They focused on 4 problems: anxiety, fury, paranoia, and perspective. I sound like I'm Elf doing the 4 food groups there. And candy corn and syrup. But it's not quite that sweet. So let's look at anxiety. What do the Stoics say about anxiety? So their belief was you don't coddle people by telling them that everything will be okay. In other words, when somebody's sort of having a hard time and they're complaining, you don't just say, "Oh, it'll be fine." If you're Stoic, you don't do that. You just don't. And all of us have done that, I think, with people, our friends, and so forth, and I don't think we feel anything bad about it. We just do it. We're trying to be nice. Anyways, to them, the Stoics, it's better to just expect the worst. So their idea was that you can imagine the worst possible things that can happen to you, and not only imagine them, but expect them to happen. I find that interesting. Because their thinking is that way, when the worst happens, you'll be prepared for it. Okay. Personally, see, I think they're kind of on the right track here in a sense, because for me, one of the things that sort of keeps me ticking along is I don't expect bad things to happen, but there's a part of me that's aware that they might happen because life is messy. There's a lot of things that are out of our control. There's some things we control. We could be doing everything perfectly, and there could still be a violent storm that hits our house, or our house could catch on fire, or we could get a pain one day, go to the doctor and find out we've got a terminal illness. I mean, all these things are possible. They happen to people all around us. They're happening all the time. So I don't dwell there, but the fact that I'm aware that I'm not immune to these things, it helps me live in gratitude. So I think it's a good idea to know, to be aware that things can happen, because that way you can be grateful when they're not happening. That's my philosophy. Fury, which is also anger, if you don't like the word fury. Stoics say it's a dangerous indulgence. Okay, it's stupid. They didn't pull any punches. They just judged. So it's a dangerous indulgence. It's just stupid. It's caused by an incorrect picture of existence. And I think there was something in there about something about hope and expectation or something in there. Anyways, from Seneca, who was another famous Stoic, who was like some emperor's right-hand man, I think Nero's maybe, but his quote is, "What need is there to weep over parts of life when the whole of it calls for tears?" Such a great outlook, isn't it? Again, I don't think they were that far off. I mean, they had the right idea, but it's, really, actually, I don't think they had the right idea at all. I'm sorry. Personally, I think, like any other emotion, anger, I think you should feel angry. You should expect to feel angry once in a while, and you should feel angry once in a while if that's how you feel. If you feel angry, feel angry. It can be, of course, expressed inappropriately. I personally can attest to that, because my own human part of me will sometimes hold on to frustration a little longer than I should, and it leaks out in angry bursts once in a while. But anyways, you should feel, I think it's important to feel whatever emotion you have, and let's face it, if you try to deny any kind of emotion, anger especially, it's going to come back and bite you at some point. It just is. It's going to come back and leak out at some point. So I don't think anger's stupid. I don't think it's a dangerous indulgence. I think if you do get angry with someone, or if you're angry, try to express it somehow. Go out in the woods, go somewhere and beat on a tree. Well, I don't know. I like trees, so don't beat on a tree, but beat on the ground, beat on something. But take your anger out on something other than another person, because we know that's not the best way to do things. Paranoia. I actually agree with them on this point, to a sense. So that life is not out to get you. When we think this way, we will always be looking to blame someone or something else for our troubles. And then they add, events are merely random. I have some experience with paranoia, actually. When I was younger, I got to the point where my anxiety built up so bad that I got to the stage where I was imagining things were happening that weren't happening. Like if a couple people were having a conversation that I couldn't quite hear, but it was just I was sure they were talking about me, and it was just an it's a defense mechanism for people who have low self-esteem. I learned about it later. It's called delusions of grandeur. When you feel so low about yourself, there's a part of your mind that says, "Oh, you're not." I mean, those people everybody's talking about you, so you got to be important. So, anyways, I guess the thing is here is learn not to take things personally, because there are probably some of you in this room. I kind of doubt it, but maybe some of you in this room have experience where someone was just out to get you. A coworker or an ex-best friend or a classmate. But most of us has got through life without that really happening to us. And things are just more random than not. Things happen. That tornado hit your house, or somebody even gets angry at you and you take it personally when really that's more about them and not you. And there's a saying called hurt people. Have you heard that one? And that's true. So it's really a good idea to develop some sense of that and try not to take things personally, because we're all human. We're all human. And by the way, I'll get to that later. I'll come back to it. Perspective. And actually they call this a loss of perspective. I'm just saying perspective. So we naturally exaggerate our own importance. Okay, makes sense. I think we do. We think that we're important. We better be important to ourselves. And then to regain our composure, we must be reduced in our own eyes. It's an illusion that we matter. Not sure if I agree with that 100%, but what I do understand is that we should look at the big picture of things. This is a big universe. Oh, no, hit that accidentally. And what is our place in it, really? We don't know. But if you think about it, this is a kind of a fine line to toe sometimes, and I will tell you, when I was starting to feel better myself after going through that period where I was anxious and paranoid and stuff, one of the things I struggled was, how do I feel better about myself without feeling too good about myself? In other words, I was a little afraid of my ego. I didn't want to feel egotistical, and I really did. I kind of struggled with that in my head. I was like, how do I do that? So eventually, I came to an understanding, or however you might want to say it, that I was really important in the sense that I'm just as important as anybody else on the planet. I am just as important as anyone. I am not more important than anybody, but I am certainly not less important than anything. To think that we place importance on are things that don't really matter, like somebody's job title, or if they're a politician, or if they're a police officer, or whatever. As children, we all have hero worship and stuff. But as you move through your life and go forward and stuff, you realize that some of these people that have these positions, maybe they're really not so great. Like maybe a president. Oh, never mind. I don't want to get political. But anyways, there's people in power, of course, in these positions that we might normally look up to, and when we see them for what they really are, we're like, maybe not so much. Just because they got the job as president of the company, or they got the job as mayor, or whatever it might be. I don't see it in them. And this is something that even when I was a young child, I sort of had a sense of this, because I can remember playing out on the street. And sometimes we got a little too rambunctious and maybe did something we weren't supposed to do, or maybe somebody thought we were back then people got upset about, if you ran across their lawn. I mean, imagine that. But we had neighbors that would do that. And sometimes the police would show up, and I'd be with 3 or 4 of my buddies, and to a T, almost every one of them would be like, "Oh, yes, sir, officer, yes, sir. Oh, yeah," and just be like kissing the guy's butt, And I'd be like, whatever. I'd be like, whatever, because I had this sense not to respect people for positions. If I do respect you because you're human, but I don't respect your position just because you have that position. You're going to have to prove that you're a good person to me. That's just how I am. That you earn my respect, no matter who it is or what title they have. So we might exaggerate our own importance, and that's, Stoics say that's probably not a good idea. Not a good idea to do that. And you do have to be careful. You don't want to become so full of yourself that you think you're the best thing out there. But having some sense of yourself, I think, is good. If we don't, our ego is actually, and I think Russ mentioned this last week or the week before, our ego is actually very important to us, because without our ego, we would never do much of anything. Our ego, we need to feel good about ourselves, don't we? We should feel good about ourselves. If I didn't feel somewhat good about myself, I couldn't be doing the music every week. I could be like I used to be at one point, and to say, "Oh, I'm not good enough." I shouldn't be doing this. But what's the point? And really, to hold back is not good, because if you're holding back, it's actually selfish to hold back, because people are not seeing what you can be, and they're not seeing your light. And it's important that people see your light and what you can be and what you can do and stuff. And then it's up for them to judge you, right? I mean, if they want to judge you, you can't help that. But don't judge yourself, because you need to be your own best friend. If you think about it, you're the only one, no matter how good of a relationship you might have with someone else, whether it's a spouse or a lover or a sibling or a child or a parent, you are the only one on the planet that is with yourself 24/7. You're it. You're the only one that knows all of your thoughts, all of your feelings. And if you don't learn to take care of yourself and love yourself, you're in trouble, because you're not going to be able to take care of other people or love other people very well if you can't at least love yourself. You've got to do that first. And that was a long lesson for me to learn, but I learned it eventually. Where am I? Forgiveness, I think, is one of the tools you can use. Like I said, we are human. I have done things recently in the past year or something. They weren't my proudest moments. Like I said, losing my temper a couple of times and some other things. Yesterday, I got here for music rehearsal practice, and we're getting out of the car, and I'm like, I don't have my keys. I didn't have the keys to get in church. And so we're like, well, we'll just go back to the apartment and we'll go through the music there. And we start pulling out. And Tina saved the day. Tina comes in. Tina, you have a key to the church, right? It was perfect timing, because we were on our way out. And there she was. So thank you, Tina, for saving us. So there was a time in my life when I'd still be kicking myself for something like that. I'd just be like, oh, what a stupid so-and-so, to do that. And I didn't even go there for a second because it just happens, I've come to an understanding that I can be a little absent-minded at times, a little. And to deal with that, it's important for me to put things, Jeannie's like, a little. It's important to put things in the same place all the time, And when I don't do that, it's not pretty. Things like that happen. So sometimes you even know what you need to do, but you don't always do it. And that's that humanness. That's that human part of us. But how many have used this expression or heard this expression? Oh, it's okay, you're only human. All the time you say that. I'm going to ask you not to say it anymore. Because we are not only human. We are also divine beings. So yes, we are human, but and actually it's just been putting together this talk and getting prepared. I decided I'm going to try not to use that expression anymore myself, because we are not only human. We are also divine beings, and it's that divine part of us that gets us through things, and it allows us actually to use tools like forgiveness to look at ourselves and say, you know what, that wasn't the coolest thing I've ever done. I don't feel good about it, but you know what? It's okay. I forgive myself for it because I'm human. Not only human, I'm human. So if you take nothing away today, consider doing that. Try not to use that expression with anybody because they're not only human. And I think that'll allow us together, because I'm just starting on this journey myself, to remind us that people are not only human, to see that divine part in others too. So keep that in mind. Let's see, which one are these? I have two graphs here. Not that one. I think we'll do this one. So you see the title on this is Happiness Score. And this is a somewhat very inaccurate graph of my life with happiness, I suppose. I didn't spend a lot of time on this. I spent a minute. So, anyways, I think we all kind of start out at zero. We're born. We haven't really experienced emotions yet. And early childhood, unless there's some extreme, not for everybody, because some people are born into trauma and difficulties. But we're up and down. That graph should probably be a little sharper at that point, because we're around little children now, and they're either very, very happy or very sad. So it's probably more like this at the beginning, to be honest. But it's up and down. It's up and down. And then there could be a trauma, something in life. For me, my first experience with that was when my mother passed away from cancer when I was 10, and that really sent me in that first downward spiral there. So I think I have a pointer. It doesn't show up. Anyways, so that was me trying to deal with that experience, and that went on for quite a while, into my early 20s. So that wasn't a quick recovery by any means. And you see that lowest point there? What do we call that? Hitting bottom. Thank you. That's where I hit bottom at some point. I just got to the point where I couldn't take anymore, and I never got suicidal or anything. But people do get depressed enough to think about that, which is going back to choice, which is always one of our choices. It really is. If you talk about it just honestly enough, it's always a choice for us. So anyways, hitting bottom, and I got some help, which I won't go into right now. But anyways, you'll see kind of a sharp rise right after that. So once I started figuring things out and got a little help, boom, it was sort of a quick rise. And then the rest of it is, there's some other traumas in there. There's another, the loss of my first wife. There's job losses in there and other things. But what you may notice is that the recovery period, as time went on, was mostly quicker. It was quicker than that first initial hit, and that's probably true for most of us. But what I want to point out is, so one of the questions was, is happiness simply a choice? And what I want to point out is that every one of those stages there, especially those low points, there had to have been a choice made. There was an opportunity to make a choice. And the choice might be at your very lowest point, at that bottom, is just, I need to do something. And then you do something, I mean, it's a choice, though. You're just like, I need to do something. You may not know what it is you need to do or how you're going to do it yet, but you choose to do something because you recognize at this point that I've got to do something. This sucks. This is not good. So every time there's trauma, every time there's a difficulty, there's choices to be made, and we all make them. And sometimes people make choices. I see a lot of people making choices about. Well, I'll use a real life example. I just got off the phone. I talked to my stepmother the other day, who is only actually a few years older than me, who is living in Florida with my dad, who is 99 years old, and she has spent the last several years of her life just taking care of him. His mind is still there. I mean, I had a conversation with him yesterday. He's lucid. He knows what's going on, but he's got some physical challenges and stuff, and he needs a lot of care. And Jody, made a choice. She's making a choice. She told him at some point that she was never going to put him in a home, and she's come close to making that decision a couple of times. And she's committed to it. She's sticking to keeping him there till whenever he's going to make that transition. And it's not easy on her. I could tell by talking to her. She's very honest with me. There's times when I want to hit him. There's times, I don't get to talk to anybody. Other than she does work part time, so I get to talk to people at work, but I don't have a social life. I can't go anywhere. I'd love to travel. So she's not happy, but she's made this choice. And I see people do that a lot, where they make choices like this. And sometimes I hear people say, I should stay and take care of so and so. This is what I should do. And I hate to hear people say that, because there's nothing you should do in life. You can make a choice to do it, but still understand that you're making that choice. There's no shoulds. I should do this. I should do that. I should do this. You could do it, or you could not. That's your choice. But if it's based on should, be aware that you're walking on a trail that may lead you to a lot of unhappiness. Because, and I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying it's a treacherous walk sometimes to do that. Give me a second. I drink of water. So, I don't have the answers necessarily, and I just have questions like the rest of you. Why do people recover quickly, or why don't they recover quickly? I do think that there is a choice involved in that somewhere. And some people recognize it sooner, and some people just have good tools in their toolbox. So one of the tools that helped me through the years was the Serenity Prayer. I had a guy at work in my 20s. He handed me one of the cards. I had the Serenity Prayer. I didn't know he was an alcoholic and going to AA, and I didn't know that that prayer had anything to do with AA. I just liked it. I was like, that's really cool. And I carried that around with me for years, and I didn't always keep it in mind, but every now and then at these little points in my life, I'd take it out, and I'd be like, let's see if I can remember how it goes. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I was always just a fan of that. Little sayings like that that had so much meaning to them. One of my favorite Bible verses was it's a paraphrase I've learned later, but it's have faith as a grain of mustard seed. And I used that as a reference point in my life quite often, because it just reminded me that no matter what things look like today, that things will probably look better tomorrow. They will look better tomorrow. And just have faith. If you're struggling, things can change. Things will get better. I like little sayings like that. I don't need 1,000 words to tell me something, like all this talking I'm doing today. Anyways, so just keep in mind, I don't have the answer for why some people recover quickly. I think it's just because they built up some experience. I think because they've got maybe a good support system, which really helps. In fact, I can tell you that helps, because when my first wife took her own life, because that was a choice she made to take her own life. She was struggling with mental illness. I was, it had been a period where there was a lot of turmoil and stuff, and I started going to Al-Anon, and actually it was a period where I was actually learning about myself and feeling better about myself in spite of what was going on. But afterwards, because one of the choices we had was maybe to commit her, and I decided, I made the choice. I said, I can't do that to her. I just can't. I can't. It's not a life for anybody, to be committed. And then I was feeling bad about that, because she actually did what she did. So a couple of months later, I had a group. I was going to a Unity church at the time. I had some people that I had gotten to know through a Dale Carnegie class, and some of them came together, and it was really kind of cool. I don't even know what you call it, but they just kind of came together as sort of a support group. And I'm sharing with them that I was wondering if I'd made that right choice, and maybe I should have had her committed. And one of the gals that was there said, there was, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody that she knew who had been committed, and ended up taking their life in the hospital with the extension cord from the light that was above their bed. And I was like, wow. I didn't want to hear that story, but in a sense, it made me feel better. It made me feel better about the choice I made, and I didn't have to feel guilty about it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so here's another graph of what somebody's happiness is, just sort of random. In fact, this was just a chart I plucked off of the internet. So somebody's happiness line might look like this, and that little yellow thing is some kind of major trauma in their life. And then out in the text there are some things that might make you happy, right? These are some pursuits that you might do, and I can't read them back there, so I'm going to turn around for a moment. But maybe getting a new car is going to make you happy. Finding that perfect someone might make you happy. Maybe you want to run and finish a marathon. That might be a goal you have. You might want to write a novel. Matt. Oh, I woke him up. I'm sorry. dream job. You know, you just might be you want that dream job and or a dream house, or there could be, you know, hundreds of things up there. And anyways, we're going to do a little exercise now. And I need 2 volunteers that is going to have to require a little bit of walking around and stuff. So can I get 2 people to come up and help me? Tina and Sandy. You sure you're okay with walking around the room? Okay. No, you leave that paper there, Missy. Okay. But speaking of that paper, that's where it's going to come into play. So let me just... Okay, so you are going to be Lavender. In the back of the room, there is some bigger sheets of paper that will have your color, and your goal is to go get those and bring them back. However, on the way there, you are going to collect 6 small pieces of paper that should be floating around. Are they floating around out there already? Okay. I was just asking my assistant there. I couldn't remember. And then when that's all said and done, you're going to make your way to the back of the room and grab two of the bigger sheets that are lavender.
Do we know where they are?
You'll see them. They're back there. Well, hold on. You're the gold. You're the gold or yellow. Is that gold or yellow? I don't know. Your job is to just collect 3 of the smaller pieces of paper.
Okay.
And then you're going to go back and grab as many pieces of the big yellow paper as you can back there, okay? And if people have a timer on their, could somebody time Tina? And can somebody on this side time Sandy for me? All right, so in a minute I'll say go. So just to recoup, you're going to grab on your goal is to get to the back of the room and grab 2 sheets of the big paper, 2 only. There's more than 2. And on the way, you're going to grab 6 pieces of small paper. So your job out there is if you see those pieces of paper to hold them up so they can see them, okay? Somebody might have 2, that's fine. But just help them out. And Sandy, your job, you're going to grab 3 small pieces of paper and all the big ones in the back. So when you guys are ready, I'm going to say go. It's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. You think? Sandy thinks it's a race, actually. Anyways, it was kind of a tie, wasn't it? It was. That's really not the point, anyways. So let's see. You, what did you open up? One of the big ones. Let's see what you got.
Congratulations, you bought a house.
Got a house. Great. Got one of her dreams. Got a house. How big is that house on that piece of paper?
Not the size of a pencil.
Oh, it's not very big. Not a very big house, but she got a house. It was one of her goals. And what's the other big sheet say?
Congratulations, you were promised or promoted to division manager.
Okay, you got a good job. Pretty good job there, right? And let's open these little pieces of paper now and see what you got.
Go hiking.
Got hiking, so did something cool there.
Learn a craft.
Learn a craft.
Attend a concert.
Attend a concert. Who'd you go see? Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah.
See a movie.
See a movie. Okay. Probably several, but anyways, at least one.
Spend time with friends.
Time with friends. Some social life there. Social activities.
Visit a museum.
Visit a museum. Okay. So you probably had some fun along the way, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Sandy, what do you got there? What's the big ones? What did you,
Congratulations on my new house.
and how big is that house down there?
It's a little bigger than a pencil.
Okay, it's bigger. Bigger house. She got a bigger house. Okay.
Congratulations, CEO, way to go.
All right, got a great job. Better than division manager.
Congratulations on your master's degree.
Well, that probably came before that job offer, but that's okay.
And on my brand new car.
Brand new car.
I'm sporting around town in the new convertible, right?
And now we're at the smalls.
Harder.
So your little piece of paper says work harder.
Yeah. Let's climb at home that way. Go fast.
Go faster.
Gotta make those numbers. And read a textbook.
Read a textbook. So, but you got all the great things.
I got all the recognition, but I
Yes.
spend all my time working and don't get to.
So who do you think had more fun? She had more fun. The point of that is just to remember that happiness is not a destination, but it's the journey. So just keep that in mind, and thank you so much for putting up with me today. I appreciate it. And we have to do a pre-meditation song now. Make sure I don't fall on the step. You can keep the papers. Good thing you had to start over because I wasn't paying attention. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between me and my God. There's no separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in your hearts. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. Well, I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil. I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil. Thanks. So, if you feel comfortable, why don't you go ahead and sit back, make yourself comfortable, and close your eyes. Breathe in. Breathe back out. And become aware, if you will, of your presence in the room. Become aware of your body, your seat on the pew, your legs on the floor, your feet on the floor, your breathing. And know, and remember that you're in this room with all these other people. And now we're going to raise the veil. And as the veil raises, you are going to kind of float upward from your seat. You're still sitting there, but you're floating upward. And you get to the ceiling, and you can look down and see yourself and see everybody else in the room. But you keep ascending, you keep going higher. And you get up in the treetops, and maybe if there was no roof on the building, you could probably still look down and see everybody, see yourself and everybody else sitting here. But eventually you'd get beyond the treetops. You'd get up into the clouds. And you'd get up into space. You'd get through the orbit of Earth. And you float out deeper and deeper and deeper into space. And you can no longer, of course, see yourself sitting here or the people that are with you. And you might realize that, or become to wonder if you were there long enough, if you even ever really existed, if you exist now. Was it just a dream? And you become aware of how little you matter, how little the people in this room matter, how little the people in Little Rock matter, how little the people in the country matter, how little any of the people matter, how little the human race matters. It doesn't really matter up there. But yet you still feel this connection. And you're just aware of this for a moment, that how small life is, really. And now you start floating back. You work your way back through the Earth's atmosphere, back into the clouds, back into the treetops, back here into this room, and you realize how important it is for you to feel important all by yourself. How important it is for you to place that importance on yourself. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. And you must learn to love yourself. You must remember that you are human, but you are also a divine being. And in that divinity, there are some great, great things there. There are things like love, things like happiness, tools that you can use like forgiveness. There's kindness. There's compassion. There's passion. Those things are the divine part of ourselves that we will likely take with us after we're done with our body, after we're done with our time here on earth. But while we're here, you need to take time to enjoy the ride, because for all we know, this is it. I know there's plenty of people here that believe they're in life after death, and I personally haven't made up my mind about that. I think there is at some level somehow. Energy can't be destroyed, but what we do know is that this experience, whether it be another one or not, but this experience is the one that's important right now. So with that in mind, take another deep breath in and let it out. And when you feel ready, open your eyes, come back into the room, and remember to love yourself. Oh, got that slide out of order. Never mind. We're actually going to do a song, and I have to play the piano. Let's get another hat on. Let's see, this is on, that's good. You turn that up just a little bit, Pam? Can you turn this out? A little bit, so I can hear myself? Okay, that's good, thank you. I included this song here today because just a reminder that what we think is what our experience is going to be. So, something to keep in mind. And now Bill's not ready. He had all that time, I don't know. I am the thinker who thinks the thought, the changes thing that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I had the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I had the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I'm beauty, I am joy. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I had the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone else's darkest night. So much more than meets the eye cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things, that shapes my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. One-man show. I'm exhausted, people.
Well, what a rich day about happiness. Let go. Let God unleash the godness in you and choose happiness. I love it. That's okay. So let's prepare to give our offerings today. Now, I'm the treasurer of the board, and that's kind of different for a church. I want y'all to know I pray over every check we write, and I bless every offering that comes our way. And I am happy to announce that we have met our goal with TAM. And we
Thank you very much. Thank you. So appreciated. Several of the songs that we did today, that last one was written by Sue Riley, and she's always a big part of the Posse Fest. And Daniel Naaman, I think, is going to be there.
So you're just going to have a great time.
Jana
aren't you?
Stanfield is going to be there. We did one of her
wow.
songs to do. So it's a great opportunity to reconnect with some of these people who are at the forefront of New Thought music, and I expect to come back with a lot of new stuff. So it'll be great. Thank you so much.
We give to you, and you're going to bring it back, aren't you?
I'm going to bring it back.
Okay. Now, tenfold, exactly. Now, let us not forget where, we support this church daily, too, and all the things we do. So come on down. Let's get give your gifts. You all are so generous. Okay. So let us all say together as we bless this offering, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. Well, it's time to announcements, yes. Okay.
Good morning.
What are you
How do you
wearing?
like my DIY headbands? You might see that there is a plastic fork and a plastic knife. That's on purpose.
Yours is
What, can you fix me, Ashley?
trying to. Okay, sit up.
Good. That is there because on February 17th, we are going to go feed the people at our house. I have a sign-up sheet. The coffers in WOW have gotten a little low, which actually excites me because that means what's coming in is going right back out. So I have a sign-up sheet asking people to donate some food items. We're going to do a taco bar there. We did it at Ronald McDonald House, and it went over really, really well. So I'm going to have a sign-up sheet for people to donate food. Let me know if you want to go there. We're going to make it here because unlike Ronald McDonald House, we can make the food here. So please see me. I'll be in the community room after service to talk about how you can help with that. So I really appreciate everyone that's helped with it so far. I was going to talk to you about the fundraising for TAM, but guess what?
So we don't need to do that now.
Our goal has been met. Isn't that amazing? So thank you, everybody. And I'm also going to have another sign-up sheet for the week that TAM's gone for who wants to take Jeannie out to dinner tonight. Okay, so there'll be a sign-up sheet for that. I'm also available for coffee, breakfast. I love doing breakfast out. So there'll be a sign-up sheet for that as well. So don't be shy. I'll have that there too. Plarn, which has been so successful. Thank you. A huge thank you to Pamela Duncan in the back of the house there. She is our go-to girl for the Plarn. Any and all questions can be addressed to her, and she'll be in the community room after service to show you where all the stuff is, the bags are. We have one mat that's halfway done. We have a crochet hook. We have Plarn balls. So please see Pam after service back in the community room. Thank you so much, Pam, for bringing it to us.
I'm pretty sure my coworkers think I'm crazy because at the end of the day when I have my work done, I just put plastic bags all over my desk. And I'm just cutting.
She's just plurning away. So happy for you.
It's a Plarnable.
They didn't even ask me questions. Like, what am I doing? I'm like, why are you asking me questions so I can tell you about it?
There is going to be a class here called Path 101. It's going to be on Sunday, February 18th. It's not up there. That's why I wanted to tell you about this. At 9 a.m. This class is for those who are interested in becoming a member here at Unity, or if you're just interested in hearing more about Unity. So it's going to be Sunday, February 18th, 9 a.m. And I'm assuming it's Russ who is leading that.
Awesome. We also have our community exchange going on right now. If you haven't seen back here in the two classrooms, we've got tons of stuff. We've brought in lots of donations. So after we're done here, feel free to go over there, go shopping. We need it all gone. So we don't need any more stuff. We need people to take stuff from there.
And the good news is, Ashley, is that whatever is left on February 17th, we're
It's
also going
going
to bag it all up, and it's going to our house.
Which I love that idea. And also next week, our guest speaker is going to be Beverly Pryor. She is coming in from Dallas, and she is a licensed Unity teacher. So I love it when other people from different Unity churches come in and speak. It's always worth your time, and they always add so much value to our community. Also, Spirit Group started last week, but you could still join. There's going to be some information, I believe, in the back after church if you want to pick up like a pamphlet. Is that correct?
On the back table back there,
back
there's
table?
handouts about the different spirit groups, back where Linda is.
Anything else?
I think we're ready to
I
circle
think
up.
we're ready to form our Unity Circle.
A lot of people have been wanting to say the entire prayer because they miss the prayer protection. So you can either read it responsively or you can just read the entire thing with me. So let's see. We're kind of a small group. Yeah, go old school. But we're going to add the I, because we're going to add that. So, okay. So, yeah. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, peace that was meant to be with God, our Creator, and we all are we. Let's walk with each other. This be a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my silent vow. To take each moment, love each moment, peace eternally.
The very thought of you